In the year 1000 CE, the North Atlantic Ocean in winter presented an unforgiving scene. Towering waves crashed against the wooden longships as temperatures plummeted below freezing, encasing rigging in ice and solidifying beards. Breath crystallized in the frigid Arctic air. For weeks, crews endured conditions that would swiftly incapacitate a modern individual. Without cabins, shelters, or protective walls, they faced the relentless, deadly cold directly. Most remarkably, they lacked any means to generate fire. This raises a crucial question. How did Viking sailors survive perilous voyages across the Earth's most treacherous waters without any heat on their vessels? The answer fundamentally challenges conventional perceptions of Viking maritime technology. Archaeological discoveries from 8 significant ship sites reveal a startling reality. Vikings never heated their ships. No braziers, no hearths, no fire whatsoever. This omission was not due to primitive ignorance. It was a deliberate engineering choice that prioritized safety over comfort. Their strategies were so effective that they facilitated the conquest of nations and the exploration of continents. This narrative commences with a core maritime truth that Hollywood frequently misrepresents. Fire and wooden ships are inherently incompatible. A vessel constructed entirely from pine, oak, and rope means that even a single spark imperils not just warmth, but everything. But how can we be certain that Vikings truly sailed without fire? The answer is etched into the ships themselves, preserved for a millennium, waiting to disclose their story. The most definitive evidence originates from the Roskilde Fjord, where the renowned Skuldelev ships remained concealed for nearly 1,000 years. These 5 Viking vessels, warships, cargo ships, and fishing boats, dating from 1000 to 1170 CE, underwent extensive excavation by the Viking Ship Museum. Teams recovered water barrels, tool chests, ballast stones, and even traces of preserved food. However, what compelled researchers to re-examine their findings was the absence across all 5 vessels, representing diverse ship types and functions, of any heating device. No braziers, no hearths, nothing. This pattern of absence is consistent across every major Viking ship discovery. For instance, the Oseberg ship, dating from 834 CE, contained elaborate cooking vessels. Yet these were funerary items destined for the afterlife, never utilized at sea. The Gokstad ship, from 890 CE, featured extensive water storage systems, but lacked any cooking facilities. Even the recent Gjellestad excavation, 2020 to 2021, utilizing ground-penetrating radar and modern scanning techniques, uncovered no cooking or heating apparatus. The sagas further corroborate this pattern. Norwegian legal texts, preserved in the Gragas law codes, mandated 3 daily shore trips for ship's cooks, 1 for water collection and 2 for meal preparation. The Erbygja saga mentions drawing lots to determine who would prepare food on the ship, but this refers to shore-based rather than shipboard cooking. Therefore, Vikings definitively did not use fire at sea. Why would they accept such brutal cold rather than risk even a controlled flame? The answer lies in the terrifying reality of fires on wooden ships. Viking vessels employed clinker-built construction, with overlapping planks sealed with tar, gaps packed with animal hair and wool, and rigging waterproofed with pine pitch. The sail itself, a tightly woven wool, treated with animal fat for water resistance, was essentially a colossal torch awaiting ignition. Yet, the most significant danger stemmed from the completely open design of these vessels. Unlike subsequent ships with enclosed decks, Viking ships were vast, open boats, devoid of bulkheads, fire breaks, or any means to contain a blaze. Maritime archaeology studies suggest that under such conditions, a fire could engulf an entire vessel in less than 4 minutes. Ship construction rendered onboard fires extraordinarily dangerous, with every surface comprising highly flammable materials. Physical remains from all major excavations exhibit no fire-resistant installations, metal hearths, or protective systems that might have facilitated safe shipboard heating. For Vikings, fire signified certain destruction. If Vikings, stranded on frozen seas for weeks without heat, could not use fire, how did they manage to survive? The solution involved a radical reinterpretation of warmth itself. Archaeological textile evidence from sites like Hofstadr in Greenland reveals sophisticated layered clothing systems, capable of retaining warmth even when wet, a significant advantage over many contemporary materials. Vikings developed various wool grades tailored for different functions, including wind resistance, insulation, and moisture management. The most remarkable discovery emerges from preserved clothing finds and saga descriptions. Vikings performed daily sleeve adjustments to maximize heat retention. According to the Laxdæla saga, female crew members would use bone needles and waxed thread to tightly seal men's sleeves at the wrists each morning. Not tied, not buttoned, but sewn shut. This created an airtight seal, preventing heat loss. Before combat or landing, warriors would sever these seals with their seax knives. This daily ritual was indicative of a revolutionary textile technology. Greenlandic burial sites showcase specialized winter garments, such as sealskin outer layers for maritime crews, fur-lined clothing made from wolf and bear pelts, and evidence of this sleeve modification practice in preserved garments. The layering system was sophisticated beyond modern comprehension. Each layer collaborated to create what researchers term a portable microclimate. However, even this advanced clothing couldn't sustain body heat during long hours of sleep. This is where Vikings deployed their most ingenious innovation. Disregard Hollywood's portrayal of Vikings wrapped in individual furs. The reality was far more intimate and effective. Vikings utilized communal sleeping systems, documented in multiple saga sources. The Egil's saga describes shared sleeping arrangements, employing what the sagas refer to as waterproof skin bags, likely the Hudfat mentioned in the Prose Edda. These were 2-person sleeping bags crafted from sheepskin with fur lining, designed not for privacy but for survival. 2 bodies within an insulated space generate compounded heat. These bags could maintain internal temperatures 15 to 20 degrees warmer than the outside air, using only body heat. Winter campsites indicate that these weren't luxury items, but standard maritime equipment. Crews were assigned sleeping partners based on watch schedules, as documented in the Landnámabók. When one sailor stood watch, his body heat warmed the shared space. Upon their switch, the second man entered an already warm environment, ensuring the sleeping area never fully cooled. The sleeping arrangement itself displayed thermal brilliance. Ship reconstructions suggest crews slept between the rowing benches on platforms constructed from stored oars, staying above the coldest bilge air. The sail, when lowered, transformed into a tent over the entire vessel, trapping warm air generated by dozens of bodies. Even affluent Vikings participated in these communal arrangements. Ship leaders received no special heating privileges. survival imperatives superseded social distinctions during voyages. Yet, maintaining body heat under such conditions demanded immense caloric intake from food that could not be cooked. Vikings consumed preserved food specifically prepared for cold consumption, as documented across trading post excavations. Sites in Hedeby revealed the preparation techniques. Dried fish that remained edible for months, ship's biscuits, knekkebrød that wouldn't spoil in salt spray, and cold porridge systems prepared prior to departure. The porridge system described in the Islending Archaeological was particularly ingenious. Cooks would prepare massive quantities with added butter and salt for preservation. This mixture would congeal into a nutrient-dense paste that could be consumed directly or mixed with cold water. These provisions supplied the 2,000 to 3,000 calories per day, essential for cold weather survival. Excavations at York demonstrate the scale of this provisioning. Massive stores of dried fish, hardtack biscuits, and fermented dairy products designed for extended voyages without cooking. But where did Vikings develop such sophisticated systems? The answer lies in their extensive land-based infrastructure. Vikings were not continuously at sea. Recent coastal surveys have revealed extensive harbour networks for regular shore stops, with over 200 documented sites from Norway to Newfoundland, identified by the Viking Ship Museum's Coastal Archaeology project. The scope of these operations only became apparent with modern excavations. Research at Torksey, England, conducted by the Universities of Sheffield and York, 2009 to 2017, illuminated the true nature of these bases. A winter camp extending over 55 hectares with proper hearth systems, workshops, and family accommodations. These heating stations supported entire fleet operations through adequate warming and food preparation, which was impossible at sea. On land, Vikings possessed complex cooking technology that archaeological evidence shows never transferred to ships. These digs uncover riveted iron pots with integrated tripod systems, specialized suspension chains for hearth cooking, and soapstone vessels with superior thermal properties. These systems functioned exclusively during beached operations. Viking longhouse designs from sites like Borg in the Lofoten Islands demonstrate an advanced understanding of airflow patterns, smoke evacuation, and efficient central hearth placement. Yet, these innovations never appeared in shipboard applications due to fundamental safety constraints. Vikings possessed the technology for shipboard heating. They deliberately chose not to use it. But why opt for calculated discomfort when other cultures found heating solutions? While Vikings sailed without fire, Mediterranean cultures had developed onboard cooking systems by 600 CE. Roman naval archaeology reveals ships with bronze braziers and specialized charcoal stoves. Byzantine vessels included dedicated galley areas with chimney systems and proper ventilation, all documented through underwater excavations in the Mediterranean. However, Vikings weren't unique among northern Europeans in avoiding shipboard fires. Explorations into Anglo-Saxon and Frisian maritime archaeology, conducted by researchers at Cambridge and Groningen universities, reveal strikingly similar patterns: an absence of onboard heating, reliance on cold provisions, and cooking primarily done ashore. However, Mediterranean innovations did not extend northward due to distinct construction methods and climatic imperatives. Vikings made a deliberate trade-off, foregoing heating apparatus to enhance cargo capacity and achieve superior speed, crucial advantages for both raids and swift retreats. Could modern mariners endure similar conditions, utilizing authentic Viking methodologies? Contemporary experimental archaeology confirms the efficacy of Viking techniques. The 2007 Sea Stallion voyage, which journeyed from Roskilde to Dublin aboard an authentic Skulldalev reconstruction, demonstrated that appropriately equipped crews employing historical methods can withstand extended cold water sailing sans any heating systems. Documented by the Viking Ship Museum, this expedition underscored that shared sleeping arrangements, communal clothing maintenance, and synchronized watch rotations were absolutely vital for survival in cold climates. The combination of suitable wool clothing, social warming tactics, and meticulous weather management maintained crew core body temperatures within safe parameters, even during challenging North Sea crossings. Yet, these physical systems necessitated psychological support strategies that proved equally important for survival. Evidence from over 50 Viking camps features more than 300 gaming pieces, dice, board games, and carved entertainment items. According to researchers at the Museum of Cultural History in Oslo, crews dedicated considerable time to social activities during harsh conditions. These weren't mere diversions, but calculated psychological strategies complementing physical warming techniques. Gaming, storytelling, and organized competition helped crews endure discomfort by preserving morale. Vikings intuitively grasped that mental state directly affected physical endurance, what we now recognize as psychological thermogenesis. Strategic voyage planning also minimized psychological stress. Vikings generally eschewed winter sailing, operating within meticulously calculated weather windows that rendered survival achievable rather than heroic. They timed their journeys to align with seasonal patterns, maximizing shore contact instead of enduring perpetual cold exposure. The Vikings conquered the North Atlantic, not despite their lack of shipboard heating, but precisely because of their choice to entirely reject it. Archaeological evidence from 8 major excavations definitively establishes that Vikings did not heat their ships during voyages. This was not a technological limitation, but a deliberately engineered safety measure. Vikings prioritized vessel integrity and crew survival over onboard comfort. Their extraordinary success stemmed from sophisticated non-heating strategies, advanced wool technology that remained effective when wet, ingenious social warming systems leveraging shared body heat, strategic voyage planning supported by extensive shore-based infrastructure, and comprehensive provisioning designed for cold consumption. Rather than robust warriors constantly enduring harsh conditions, Vikings were strategic maritime engineers who developed sustainable solutions for cold weather navigation. They balanced mobility, safety, and crew welfare through careful planning and innovative social cooperation, not brute endurance. Vikings reached North America 500 years before Columbus and established trade routes stretching from Greenland to Constantinople, shaping medieval Europe through their maritime dominance. They achieved all this in open boats, deliberately opting to sail without fire. When the winter wind cuts through your modern jacket and you instinctively reach for your car's heater, remember that Viking sailors consciously decided to forego such comfort. They chose strategic capability over warmth, operational safety over individual ease, and collective survival over personal comfort. Vikings didn't merely tolerate the cold, they systematically transformed their entire approach to survive and flourish within it. They restructured their social systems around it, reimagining what was possible within its constraints. Ultimately, Vikings didn't need to heat their ships because they had mastered something far more potent: how to warm themselves through cooperation, planning, and sheer strategic brilliance. In this transformation, from comfort-dependent land-dwellers to cold-adapted maritime warriors, they became unstoppable.